A show of sculpture by renowned Northwest artist Doris Chase is opening at Abmeyer Wood Gallery. And here to talk about Doris and about the exhibit is Mr. John Wood. Hey, sir.
Hey, Nancy. Thanks for having me.
You're looking very good, by the way. I love that coat.
Thank you. I like your jacket
I'm
as
going
well.
to grab that later. Okay, let's start out. Who was Doris Chase?
Doris Chase was, she was a lot of things. She was a trailblazer, I think, for women artists in this area. She was an artist that was not only a painter, a sculptor, but also a pioneer in the field of video art. So she was somebody who kind of touched on a lot of different bases.
And what do you love about her? Because I know you've been kind of after her for a long time. Or after
Well, one of the things I love about Doris is her spirit. She was somebody who was a go-getter, who would not take no for an answer. And being an artist, particularly a female artist in Seattle in the 1960s, was a tough deal.
Right.
And she's somebody who would not take no for an answer and do whatever it took to get the job done. Another thing I love about her is her work, primarily her sculpture, it's all interactive, it's kinetic, it's fun, people can engage with it, and that was what she was really wanted people to do, was have an interaction with the work.
And so this show is 10 years of sculpture, 1964 to 74?
Correct.
Why are you focusing on that particular 10 years?
Well, those 10 years, from my perspective, those are kind of the heyday of when she was making her sculpture, and I think her sculpture was the strongest, and when she really was working in a style that was kind of that geometric modernism, which I think is something that a lot of people can appreciate.
Right. And the materials themselves that she worked with, what did she work with? It was wood, it was
metal? Wood, steel. You know, she did things in lucite later on in the 70s and 80s, so she was open to whatever materials were available.
And when she worked with her, when she created her work, was she doing it by herself? Did she have like people working with her in a studio?
She did a whole lot of it by herself.
She was strong.
She was, yeah. There's photos we have of her and her kids on the table saw, just sawing wood, and it's pretty amazing to see. Other times she did big pieces like the sculpture that's here in Seattle at Cary Park, and when you're going to something that size, she had to work with foundries and things like that to have those made.
You know, when you mentioned, you know, being a woman artist, I mean, she was born in the 20s, right? How did she, I mean, you said she wouldn't take no for an answer. How did she make her way, though? I mean, it's a male-dominated, you know, world, the art world, so.
Well, for Doris, it was kind of an extreme act she took at one point in her career. She said, you know, I'm not getting the attention I deserve here in Seattle, so I'm going to do something different. And so she picked up in 1972 and took off and moved to New York City and moved into the Chelsea Hotel. The
Chelsea, oh my God. Well, that took a lot of guts. And so what happened there when she was there in the New York scene?
That's when she really started to experiment. She would come back to Seattle from time to time and work on her sculpture and painting, but while she was in New York, she started getting real into experimenting with video art. It started off with collaborations with dancers, and later on she started working with feminist playwrights and poets, and kind of really exploring video art and all of its many facets.
She's a Renaissance woman. In
Absolutely.
A lot of ways. I know she died in 2008, about
Correct.
85 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think, in your mind, is she in the pantheon of great artists, but great Northwest artists, would you say?
Absolutely. I once heard a quote where somebody called Morris Graves the bad boy of the Northwest School. And then they turned around and said that Doris Chase was the good girl of the Northwest School.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, she falls into that range, but she's also an artist who was not only in the Northwest, like I said, she was splitting her time between Seattle and New York, and she was involved with so many other things beyond just the painting and sculpture. A lot of the Northwest School artists were.
Right, right. Well, we're delighted. I'm so delighted to find out about this show. I was really thrilled that you're putting it on. So you want to check this out, Doris Chase Sculpture, 1964 to 1974. It runs March 6th through the 30th at Abmeyer Wood Gallery. And what's the address again of your gallery?
It's 1210 2nd Avenue.
1210 2nd Avenue. All right, excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Nancy.
Yeah, it's really nice to have you here. I won't call you a ginger. Wait, I just did.
What?